Hello students, let's begin with a new chapter of history, that is chapter number 9. So in an earlier video we had discussed about trading, how the traders used to trade and how they used to travel. Now let us understand what is the relation between kings and how does pilgrims come into it. So a very common picture these days, right? A Google Assistant, or you can also call it as a Google Maps. So this is the route what we can see nowadays, correct? But earlier times, were we having all this? No. But still there was trading going on. South India was famous for gold, spices, especially pepper and precious stones. Pepper was particularly valued in Roman Empire, so much that it was also called as black gold. So the pepper which is being used most important spices was called as black gold. The empires, the Roman people who were very rich, they used to trade via ships across the sea and by land in caravans. You might be wondering, what is written behind this? Of course, we are not much aware about this language. Prakrit, Sanskrit and many different names of these languages are. But this is a trade poem. We can find evidence of trade in the Sangam poem. They describes the goods brought into Puhar, an important port on the east coast. So, do one thing, you can also find out that earlier times how the people used to talk about trading in the form of poetry. Isn't it wondering? The most important routes, trading routes. So, the most important trading routes are, as you can see over here, Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, then the other two, all are related to the sea. Okay, so all these water routes were very famous. The Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, where sailors took advantage of the monsoon winds. If they wanted to reach the western coast of the subcontinent from East Africa or Arabia, they chose to sail with the southwest monsoon. So the easiest and fastest route if they want to use, that is why they use the East Africa and Arabia way. You can see over here the way to Arabia. Okay, so from year to year or from year to year, the sea routes were the easiest one. Three chiefs used for the heads of three ruling families. So the three important dynasties which were being ruling at that particular time. The Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas, who became powerful in South India around 2300 years ago. Each of these three chiefs had two centers, one inland and one on the coast. 6 cities, 2 were very important, Puhar and the port of Cholas, and Madurai, the capital of Pandyas. The chiefs did not collect regular taxes. Instead, they demanded and received gifts from the people. So, this dynasty were not collecting regular taxes. Okay, on behalf of that, they were asking for the gifts in return from the people. Also, they went on military expedition. It means that wherever the people, their military army is going, at that time, what they used to do, they used to, on the way, they can able to conquer the places. Many poets whose composition are found in the Sangam collection composed poem in praise of chiefs who often rewarded them with precious stones. So at that time, this dynasties used to reward people with whosoever worked hard for them, and it was with stones, gold horses, elephants, chariots, and fine clothes. Now we are going to talk about Situanaha Empire. It was around 200 years later, a dynasty known as Satuanahas, which became powerful in Western India. Okay, so this part is the western part, not exactly this part, the upper one. Okay. The most important ruler of Satavahana was Gautami Putra, Shri Sadkarni. So, this is a picture of Gautami Putra, Shri Sadkarni. We know about him from an inscription composed on behalf of his mother, Gautami Balashri. So, his mother, she wrote an inscription, and that is why we came to know about him, that how powerful he was. He was been known as Lord Dakshani Patha. He sent his army to the eastern, western and southern coast as well. So, how powerful he was. Now, we are going to study about it over here. That is, you can see these beautiful roads, right? These beautiful roads are known as routes. But which routes? Smoothly turning ways these routes are called as silk routes. Okay, so this silk routes, but why this have been called as silk routes? How smoothly it flows? It's very dangerous. It's not smooth, but it is very dangerous. This route is known as silk routes. Why? I'll let you know about it. Each one of us are aware about silk, right? The rich glossy colors of silk. We all know that silk is very expensive as well. Making silk is a complicated process. Raw silk has to be extracted from the cocoons of silkworms, spun into thread and then woven into cloth. Techniques of making silk were first invented in the China around 7,000 years ago. So over here, see how the Chinese used to wear, they used to woven this silk and then they used to make such good clothing out of it. China, who went to distant lands on foot, horseback and on camels, carried silk with them. The paths they followed came to be known as the Silk Route. So that is why this is called as Silk Route. You understood about it? Why this is called? Because the Chinese who traveled and carried this silk, this route is called as Silk Route. About 2000 years ago, wearing silk became the fashion amongst rulers and rich people in Rome. And now even we are very much fond of it. The best known of the rulers who controlled the Silk Route were the Kushanas, who ruled over Central Asia and Northwest India around 2000 years ago. There were two major centers of power were Peshawar and Mathura. Even Takshashila was also included in their kingdom. The Kushanas were amongst the earliest rulers of subcontinent to issue gold coins. So, how the trading started? The gold coins were being given and in return we were getting silk. Okay, the raw material as well as the whole fabric. Okay, now in this we are going to study about the pilgrims. Okay, the spread of Buddhism. Along with that, how the pilgrims were able to make us understand about all this thing. First, we are going to begin with the Buddhist. In earlier chapter, we had already understood about the Buddhism, how he got enlightenment. And the most famous Kushana's ruler was Kanishka, who ruled around 1900 years ago. A poet who composed a biography of the Buddha. From there we came to know about the Buddhism as well. A new form of Buddhism was known as Mahayana Buddhism. Statues of Buddha were made in many of this, especially in Mathura, while were made in Takshila. Even the second change was belief in Bodhisattvas. These were supposed to be person who had attained enlightenment. It means over there when Buddhism or Lord Buddha was there, they were the one who had attended their process of isolation and meditation in peace. Buddhism also spread to western and southern India, where dozens of caves were hollowed out of hills for monks into life. Now we are going to talk about Faxian and Unzang. Okay, so Faxian, who came to subcontinent about 1600 years ago, and Unzang, who came about 1400 years ago. Each of these pilgrims left an account of his journey. Unzang, this one, okay, Unzang, who took the land route back to China. When he was traveling, he was having many scripts with him. So, over 50 manuscripts were lost when the boat on which he was crossing the Indus capsized. So, from these people, we came to know about how the trading was done in earlier times, and also we came to know about how Buddhism spread. Now, we all know about this, right? Lord Krishna and Arjuna. How the Bhagavad Gita was been said to from Lord Krishna to Arjuna. Goddess Durga, Lord Krishna, Shiva and Brahma. Shiva, Vishnu and goddess such as Durga, they were very famous during that time. Worship through bhakti, an idea that became very popular at this time. Bhakti is generally understood as a person's devotion to his or her chosen deity. The idea of bhakti is present in the Bhagavad Gita, a sacred book of Hindus, which is included in Mahabharata. In this, Krishna, the god, asked Arjuna, his devotee and a friend, to abandon all dharmas and take refuge in him. So, he is asking that do follow the dharma, but you need to also understand what is the fact going on. Those who followed the system of bhakti emphasize devotion and individual worship of god or goddesses. So, slowly, steadily, bhakti started coming into it, and how we till date follow this thing. Bhakti inspired some of the best expressions in art, that is sculpture, poetry and architecture. Of course, we are very much fond of good and beautiful sculpture of gods. In fact, we have good songs also, and very beautifully the temples have been architected, right? I hope student you understood about the sea routes, the trading and about the pilgrims. This is how from the trading till bhakti we had continued. Thank you.